Welcome back, everybody. Mcoc Al Bundy Rules here. So I got the brand new event quest for the update of October 2020 here. Going to be doing on Cavalier difficulty. Going to take a quick little peek on some of the nodes. I'm seeing I want tech here, armor up preferably, and also looking at in the middle, and then nothing special there, and then going to look at the boss. See 200% recovery, so I want to ensure that I do have a regeneration counter with me. So based on this, similar to last month, the first month of Cavalier difficulty, it looks like each chapter is going to be class specific. So I'm just going to go down the middle, keep it simple for the first run through with primarily tech and then a regeneration counter for the boss, and go from there. And as always with my event quests, I always go for doing them item free. Hate using any kind of items on event quests, even at Cavalier difficulty. So you're going to see me do things a little bit differently on Mojo than you might normally. As you saw there, being very, very passive. With bad timing, the stun switched right off as I stunned him. But I do not want to contribute to him getting his missions up. Therefore, I'm going to switch my style based on as those switch as well as much as possible. If I get hit with a few, it's not going to be the end of the world. It should still be a pretty simple fight as a whole, at least nothing too chaotic. So we see a whole block is the one here. Gonna keep going at it in the meantime. As we see, using my Hulkbuster. So when I did a quick little video one right after the initial buff happened, so I was playing around, I was arguing with myself at that point if I wanted a R4 or R5. As we might see, I did decide to R5 him because I did find him rather fun. So block hits there, so gonna kind of try to avoid any blocked hits as much as possible right now. While that is there, we do see that it pauses during the special, so can't even technically buy time with that. But he is almost down, so tried to get a little too fancy and avoiding that, got myself cornered and took a couple hits, but not the end of the world. Just going to finish him off. Well, nice simple first five. Move on to the next one. Squirrel Girl here. And it's all the stripper storyline moving on through. And this should be another relatively easy fight, most likely. And double checking, nothing special on the notes here. We do see block attacks do cause power, so I do have to be careful on that, because that could easily hurt pretty quickly. I'm deciding to go use my Magneto here. Always enjoy my Magneto, and she's not a metal defender, but contrary to belief, they don't have to be metal defenders for Magneto to be ridiculous good. So I'm going to get some prowess up and try to get something going from there. If not, you're going to notice I'll play, since I go for item-free event quest completions, you will notice I'll tend to play somewhat safe just to try to avoid any silly mistakes, which will be the biggest reason that might cost a need for items. And got some pretty decent S2 damage there. Kind of did that just out of instinct, even though I could have got some higher amounts of prowess first or waited for the S3 and finished it, but that's okay. Sometimes when you get going, just get in the moment and just start hitting. But despite all that, this fight's getting close to over. Got these long specials on her. And a nice 129,000 S2 with not even that much prowess on a non-metal defender. Once again, for people who talk about he's only good against metal, they are very, very wrong. Just not as overly OP, but still pretty OP. So I'm looking at my path right here as I'm getting ready to go, planning accordingly. So my goal is just pretty much go straight up the middle. I almost always go straight up the middle. My first quest, if that's an option. but don't want to get caught off guard with anything I wasn't planned for. So with Sabretooth, text get and armor up, get the benefit here, and so Warlock will be good, especially on any possible regeneration, anything like that. So we'll go and have a little fun with Warlock. Always a fun champ to use. As we see, I'm running Suicide, so he's always a great suicide-friendly champ too. Sure, I'll take some recoil if I use those S2s, but honestly, it's worth it. Although I might use S3s at times just to avoid that recoil. Noticing I'm not hitting too much into the block on Sabretooth with Warlock like I normally would to try to get those infections up, because that's going to give him extra power based on the nodes. So I have to change my style just slightly with Warlock, nothing too over the top though. Still should be a pretty simple, straightforward fight as we see. Again, playing it safe, just because don't want any surprises. Want a nice, clean unit for completion. If I take a few hits or take a knockout or two, I ain't worried about that as long as I get through it item free. That's what I care about when it's all said and done. Get ready for this domino fight now. Checking out, making sure that there is nothing crazy going on here. And she can always be tricky, especially with those evades, so she's someone I'll play even a little bit more cautious on as I may normally. And we'll see, as long as, once that special one goes, always check to see if you're unlucky or not. I wasn't unlucky, so I was able to evade it. Sometimes people think that the S1 is unevadable. No, it's only unevadable if you're unlucky. Since I'm unlucky, pretty easy evade. Just gotta have some quick eyes sometimes on some of these champs. S2 is obviously a lot easier to evade there, but she's evading me too. She's pretty evasive this fight so far. And I just made a little mistake, but nothing too big of a deal, nothing I can't make up for. Do some nice good damage on this too. I got no unlucky, so a nice easy evade. Notice sometimes with her, especially if I'm playing safe, I might just do 4-hit combos, dash back, and do a parry, especially when she's being this evasive, because that's going to let me get some clean, easy, safe hits in. And for some reason, she's just been super evasive this fight, so trying to play it safe there. Nice, easy knockout. No gotta be fancy, just gotta get the results. So we'll see, that's wrapping up this little path. And I'm gonna move on over to Mcoc, still brand new one that came out last month, so still kind of learning how I'm gonna play him super safe because I just didn't fight him enough to get super comfortable, especially on those specials. So I'm going to fight him fairly safe and try to avoid losing too many people as much as possible. Should be able to get through it fairly simple unless I make any major mistakes. All right. Giving this one a little bit of thought, and honestly, I'm not even sure why I brought Corvus on my team in hindsight. Probably not needed, nor am I using them, or to build charges, but I'm thinking Warlock might be a good little choice right here. I guess I'm just going to kind of play it safe with that specials. Try to get fancy, try to be too evasive on things that you haven't done a bunch. Most of these specials are just muscle memory from doing them from so many times on evading them. His I haven't done enough to do my muscle memory, so I'm going to try to be a little safe. So, even though I'm going to take some recoil damage there, get some nice S2 going on, not to mention some nice armor break. And got the infection going on. And don't take too much block damage on that S1, so no biggie right there. But he is being very onto that S1. His S2's a little more natural evasive for me, so if I push him there, I'll go for the full evade there probably, but on the S1, rather play it safe. That heavy, nice long reach on that heavy, try to be careful there. And pushing him, he does, got that S3 from the block, so let's knock out this S3. Every once in a while, get unlucky, and as soon as they do the S3, they launch their S3 immediately before they lose any power, so hopefully that's not the case, and boom, good, he went down nice and quick before launching that S3. It would be nice if it was an immediate instead of after power drain on that S3, because occasionally they catch me with an S3 after their S3, which is kind of not cool. And another easy solo right there. Took a good amount of hits, but moving on forward and keep down my train of just going up the middle. So Quake, big thing on Quake is I'm going to try to give her any reason to start charging that heavy, but I'm doing well so far. I got my whole team left getting close to the boss, so I'm not too worried at this point, but I am going to go ahead and bring in this Hulkbuster. And there was a heavy, so you see that rolling right now. That's one, okay. And I just mistimed that heavy. I was a millisecond off, and boy did I pay. My first and hopefully only are close to a knockout of the match, but I still got 4 champs left, so no biggie right there. That was just trying to squeeze in the last, against my better initial judgment, trying to squeeze in that last heavy, and, well, it bit me in the rear, but it's okay to make an occasional mishap mistake. No guts, no glory, right? Anyway, so I'm going to go and use some Magneto. One thing I love about Magneto, by the way, is how suicide friendly he is. We see he actually heals from suicides. So again, Quake's a non-metal champ, but I have no reservations whatsoever against using him against non-metal champs. I'll use him against pretty much anybody. Got a little bit of prowess up, nothing too crazy. Trying to bait that S2. Sometimes they're stubborn, but there we go. And speaking of an S2, I only had 5 prowess. I should have probably charged it, but I thought I would take her out with that. So it's okay. Finished her up nice and easy. Moving on down, time for the boss, the Iron Patriot. And honestly, Chorus was a wasted roster space on here. So we're seeing so far, by far and away, my MVPs have been Hulkbuster. Would still be good to go if I didn't make that silly mistake. And Warlock, straight up MVP so far. And Regeneration here, so I'm going to go with Warlock. Oh, he does have a pretty strong health pool, so hopefully I get him down that low. If not, I brought Void just for the last bit of help just in case needed. I got my contingency plan, which is why I made mistakes in the past. I just look at my lane and not the boss, and you suffer at the end. So once again, for my goal of using no items, I went ahead and made sure I had at least a couple of good options for any possible regeneration. I don't know what happened there. I just took a beating. Missed something somehow there, but puts me on low health, but I got plenty left to make sure I get an easy item free run of this. So even if I don't solo with Warlock, not going to be a major deal whatsoever. Get as much damage as I got, then most likely we'll go for the finish with my next regeneration counter, which is going to be Void. And we see Iron Patriot just swinging and missing. I like to give a little distance when I sense the S2 come, and otherwise they can sneak a hit on you. Try to be at least a step back. So I'm trying to get that S2 out here, and there we go. A lot of times I would normally go for that S2, but running suicides right now, I'm at 12%. I do not want to take that 5% recoil damage. So let's go with the S3. And it's one of the things on Suicide Masteries will tend to use more S3s than you normally would to avoid that recoil. And I just somehow messed up that S1 instead of an evade and took way too much block damage. So now I'm just on my last straw, so I'll do whatever last tiny bit I can. And I somehow got clipped with a very easy S1. Didn't feel like I got hit, but I guess I clearly did. So he's down to only 120,000 health, got most of them off. So I should be able to finish him up with Void. I'm sure this will also give me some time to get up some of my debuffs on him before the regeneration hits. With the 200% boost on overload, that could be could slow me down. So I want to make sure I cancel that out before it's even an issue. Got him down to 18 now. Nice. Got some good debuffs going on. And overload clicks we see, but not an issue. We see his health just going down. Gotta love Void. Burnt out. That was a nice little counter. So I'm hoping y'all can use some of these counters I'm scouting out. See what works. See what doesn't work. And see what kind of silly mistakes I make for your nice item-free completion runs as well. So the first one down, nice and easy, item free. Now it's time to go to 1.2. So here on 1.2, goal again. As always, going to be another nice item free one. We'll see that Green Goblin is the boss. Let's just go to the closest one. Let's check out B here. We see that Science is going to be positive. We also see that I need to keep 3 debuffs on them. So I need a nice debuff team. We're looking down here at the boss. I see Unstoppable. So Unstoppable counter or 2 should be good. So I'm bringing my Science Heavy debuff champs for a lane. And I'm bringing a couple Unstoppable counters as well in case that's an issue. I want to be ready. And even though Nick Fury is in Science, he is an easy debuff champ. So I got him there just in case. Right here. Captain Infinity War, especially with his synergies. We see once I pair him when I get a couple debuffs each time. So main goal here, do some common Captain Infinity War style, which is going to be parry heavy, and even more so on this node because of the debuffs. So we see that timer right there. I got to be careful because if I am debuffing and going in for a heavy or after a stun with bad timing, I can get punished pretty easily, since at the reset of that timer up there, they're going to take up all debuffs, which would include a stun, which is a debuff, and also the energy goes down to 0. I am trying very hard to get up to that 2 bars of power before the reset and parry heavy charge S2, but we'll see its timer is quick, and it's just not the risk worth the risk forcing it in and getting punished in between. So if I get it, cool. If not, I'll just nickel and dime them to death with parry heavies. Just take a little bit longer, but not too big of a deal. Again, rather go a little safe and not use any resources than sorry and find myself stuck with something. Luke Cage going down pretty quick. Got him down to 15%. Got some nice heavies going on. You'll see me do some combos sometimes trying to get the power up. It is still a wishful thinking goal to try to get a S2 heavy charge on him to do some serious damage, but if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. Moving on now to what should be a simplified Anas Captain America. Another 200k plus health pool, nothing too big of a deal. It's going to take a little bit, take my time. Parry must have been off somehow, didn't seem to go. Then again, sometimes the parries just do all kinds of weird things in this game. We're seeing keeping my debuffs up nice and easy with that parry, while I am also punishing primarily with heavy. I'm also going to throw in some mediums heavy at times too, trying to get my little extra damage. And once again, trying to get my power up if I can. Try to S1s aren't worth the recoil damage I would take for the most part. However, an S2 is absolutely worth the recoil damage I would take if I could get a nice heavy charge. I'm not going to just throw my S2 at the end of a combo. I want a parry, heavy charge, and then S2 for that serious damage that he can do for those who know how Captain IW works. Still doing some fun damage right here. We'll see. Usually it's pretty easy to get a medium in before the heavy. When I'm playing safe, I might not always remember to do that because one little minor hiccup can cause it to be punished, but you'll see me throw them in there as well. Now we're going to go to man thing. Almost 300k health pool, so this might take a little bit. Again, why stop with the good thing? So far, Captain IW's been doing awesome for me. Don't see any reason to change anything right now. He should be able to get me a fairly simple solo against Man Thing. Most likely, that is, barring any mistakes. Again, keeping an eye on that timer up there. Captain Infinity War is great with that synergy between the science and the tech synergy I brought. Keeps giving me those debuffs, which otherwise would cause 0 damage. And keep moving through. I see the debuff getting ready to stop. There we go. And again, another pretty nice, easy solo. And still got at over half health, so that's always a positive thing. Next up, going to go to Nightcrawler. So with him, want to be careful. Of course, there's evasive. If I can switch him, cool, but I'm not going to overly force the risk because I'm just doing parry heavy right now anyways with Captain IW. Nothing fun or fancy, but it's been very effective, so no need to switch anything up. So if I switch into swashbuckling, cool. If I don't, so be it. And some people think you need True Strike champs to counter Nightcrawler. You don't, as long as it's not a stun immune anyways. You could go for it and switch them, which can backfire. Or you can just do this simple method of just parry heavy. Notice I'm not doing a parry medium heavy right now. I don't want to risk and just, I don't know what I did there. I just took a bunch to the head. I just kind of sat there and decided to be a punching bag. For some reason, the controls just didn't swipe like I tried, but that happens. It's probably what I get from munching on food in between fights. And might get a little something on it and doesn't swipe well. And again, making pretty simple work with Nightcrawler. So far, Captain IW has clearly been MVP. In fact, that's all I've used so far, which is awesome. So he has been, if you got a Captain IW, you probably want to use him. The synergy I brought with him between the science and the tech has been very effective as we see. So I would probably highly recommend that if you got that option, even though my Captain IW was low 30%. I have confidence that I should be able to finish up this rather easy defender. If not, then he has definitely done well, considering especially I'm using suicides, which keeps energy going down and minimizes some of my abilities, especially on specials, or especially the snow too. But the good news is, just got rid of that poison debuff, so I'm not losing any more health right now, automatically, which is good. So I would very much love to solo this fight. If not, Captain Infinity War has surely done the job so far on this path. And Unstoppable Colossus. So look out for the Unstoppable. I could go in with my kinetic charges and take out the Unstoppable. I don't want to take any risks right now. I would like to solo this fight. So kind of trying to play as risk-free as possible. Pretty simple fight. Only 30 hits for pretty good health pool. And trying to move, getting lag. We see that beautiful lag. I should know better than doing event quests right after an update. This happens every single update, but got She-Hulk. I'm not going to use Infinity War right now, I don't think, because I want to save him the little bit I have left for him for the last fight. I doubt I'll be able to solo the last fight with him at the low level, but I can seriously still do some damage. So let's go ahead and use Human Torch, which I can get these debuffs going once the first part is going. And I have plenty of champs left for the boss fight, which is after this, so I'm not too worried here if I take a little bit of damage. Heck, even if I lose Human Torch, I won't be too worried, and I just took hits to the face, and for seemingly no reason, but I'll just chalk it up to a misswipe. So you gotta keep those debuffs up. So far we've been seeing me use champs, and it's very easy for me to keep debuffs up so I can get that damage going on. It's Human Torch either doing primarily medium, light, mediums, or parry medium, heavy, and there even got a nice little flame on going on. Gotta keep those debuffs, and She-Hulk is about to go down. Pretty nice, easy fight. And there we go. Nice, easy KO. So let's go to the boss fight. Still got all of my champs alive, which is good. And I could easily go for the solo with a full health champ, but what's the fun in that? I'm not going for full solos. I'm going for a little bit of fun and effectiveness, and I'm thinking my Cap IW will be very effective also as an unstoppable counter if needed, which Green Goblin's got that on this buff. Synergy, I mean. I'm sorry, as far as on the node. And so let's use him, and highly unlikely I'm going to be able to solo with such a low health, but I can definitely do some damage in between and then bring someone else in to finish this off. And just with that poison and bleed did quite a bit of damage, took my 20% health down to half, but that's okay. And I just took a little parry, little glance. You see I'm trying to watch that unstoppable timer and back up, and I try to sneak in a little S2 at the end, knowing I was about to go down, and it did not work, but that's okay. I took off a decent amount of damage for the little health I had. So let's bring in someone I haven't used yet on this quest. Let's use a little Nick Fury. He's fun. And let's do a little bleed damage, get those internals going on like I showed on the 4-minute tutorial I recently did on him a few days back. So I got an internal bleed going on, so now I'm going to probably focus more on keeping those bleeds going, including ending on light. And then, okay. you see that right there. So I did not want to use S3s, which I normally would on this, because if I get 0 health, which you would from an S3, it's going to knock down and cause me a lot of direct damage, which I'm taking some damage anyway, and switch to his off the decoy. But Ring Goblin's about down, so it's all good at this point. Nice easy stuff. Well, I'm hoping this was helpful for you. The run through on the first chapter of the new event quest for October 2020. If you enjoyed the video, even if you didn't, why not? Go ahead and make sure you hit that subscribe button if you've not done so already. If you got time for another video, go for that as well from some of the recommendations below, but make sure you hit that top left corner. Again, thanks so much for watching, and good luck on your item pre-completion runs.